Hi, welcome back. I'm glad to see you all again. Today I'm going to look at Tesla again. I actually posted two videos about Tesla analysis. I predicted through the analysis showing that the price may drop all the way to 200, and I think many of you are kind of not happy with that kind of prediction, and maybe it doesn't make sense. Well, I was surprised in the first. But today I'm going to show you different perspective of the analysis. So new angles to analyze. I'm going to analyze based on short term as well as long term. And maybe you can try to see whether that 200 target price is something achievable or not achievable, or it could be a wrong prediction. So you can judge on that. But this analysis will kind of open up new angle of looking at Tesla stock market. So this is Shah&Co. Please click like and subscribe. We're going to start soon. Okay, so let's begin our. I'm going to show this. Okay, I'm going to show in this analysis of Tesla stock two perspectives. One is the short term, and another one is the long term. And we're going to see whether that $200 price prediction is something sustainable prediction, or it is something doesn't make sense at all. Okay, first I'm going to look at long term. So I'm going to change this to a weekly chart. I'm going to later on I'm going to do weekly and daily chart analysis. So let's try to look at this daily chart. Let's look at this. I'm zooming in. Okay, so first and foremost, we'll draw the trend line. So you see the trend line here has already crossed. The price has already crossed. Okay, so the price has gone down here. Okay, so that basically hint to us that something is not right when it starts to drop below the trend line. But of course, some of you may can argue. So another perspective which I did not highlight in the previous two videos. Anyway, if you kind of have not looked at my previous two videos, which basically where I talk in detail about how I come about to that $200 price prediction, you can look up here. So I'm going to put up a link up here. You can look into it here. So, but you please watch this video first, then you move on to that video. Okay, so this is first indication of negativity, why the Tesla stock has shown some weakness. So the price has gone down below the trend. But of course, another way to look at it, you may want to say, okay, I want to draw a trend line there's even a solid, better trend line here. Okay, so you see here. So when I draw this outer trend line, it's very much still within the trend, it's still within the uptrend. So some of you may argue like that. So I think I did not highlight this part in the previous two videos. So this is the positive news for some of us, that this Tesla stock is still in an uptrend mode, because if you look here, it barely touch it and then it bounced back up. So that's actually a good indication. But if so on a long way, it's actually no uptrend. So because you can see that there's a low, that's a high, there's a low, that's a high, and the low is also kind of still higher than the previous low. So in a way, we still might think that, okay, this might be a good opportunity for us to buy and add to the stock. Okay, some of us may not be afraid of the line broken, this particular trend line broken. they are not worried about that. They still believe that there's another trend line which is not yet broken, and in fact it bounced back. So that might actually motivate them to kind of buy. Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, but we can also see here is starting to show some sort of downtrend, because this is a high, this is a lower, that the high is getting the high here cannot beat the previous high. No? So that basically kind of show that this part is already trying to show weaknesses of downtrend. This part, even though overall we may say that it is an uptrend. Okay, so that's one angle to look at it. But here is, but the point is, it touched down. It did not manage to go up. Okay, it did not manage to go up beyond the previous high. So that's the worrisome. That's the worrisome. It touched and then it went up a little bit and then go back down again. So that shows weakness. Okay, so I will be perfectly okay if it touches all the way. So this particular down move perfectly touches this particular line. So the last, the outer kind of trend line, and then it bounces back up way higher than the previous high. Then I'm okay. I'm fine. But this one is not like that. This one is actually showing weaknesses, sign of weaknesses. So that is one thing to worry. So it may be a trap, you see. So you might want to buy. You thought that is buy low here, very good buy. It might be a trap, you see. So that's awareness I want to create. Okay. The second thing I want to show you is okay. When we do the sentiment analysis on these charts, this is the one the detail about this I actually elaborated quite depth in the video that I show, which I shared. So you can look at those. But anyway, I'll try to recap. So if you look at this kind of downtrend here, this particular downtrend, we can measure the. We can take this ruler and try to do measurement. So I want to measure from the top, the highest it managed to achieve, all the way to the low here. If you see the low here, it actually the period of time taken is 5 bars. 5 bars. Okay, so that means the sellers are pushing down. So it pushed down for a period of 5. Okay, so that's what we can try to digest here. But then when it comes to pushing it up back, okay, let's try to measure. Okay, from this low. Okay, let me point it. Okay, from this low all the way to the up. This is the highest it can achieve. You cannot go beyond that. So that's the highest you can achieve. And it took 6 bars. That means, bear in mind this is weekly chart. So 6 bars, no? So that means to pull down, for the sellers to pull down, it was quicker. It took 5 weeks only, 5 period of weeks of time. But for the buyers to push it up, it took like 6 period of weeks. Okay? So that basically tells us the buyers are not strong. Because if the buyers are strong, they'll push it in a shorter period. But here they took 6 period of time. Whereas for the sellers, they only took 5 period of time to pull it down. So now we see the buyers are not that strong. Sellers are stronger. Okay. So because of that sentiment that we see here, we can actually use our trend-based Fibonacci extension from the high, then bring it down to low here, and then bring it up to the highest. So because of that, because the buyers were not strong, because they took longer time to pull up the price, then according to the theory, the price will drop all the way to the 1.61 at Fibonacci level, which is 200. And it's supported by, and it is further supported by a kind of what you call a resistance line. Okay, this is a resistance line. So it went up. This creates a resistance line. Support is somewhere down here. So it actually, there is a double confirmation kind of the level of level 1.61 together with the resistance line creates that this is a long term in terms of, because this is a weekly chart. No? On a long term basis, it might go all the way to this target price. Okay, I know many of you will not agree with this. Many will not agree. Okay, let me try to see the efficacy, or rather the how can we trust this particular prediction. Okay, this particular Fibonacci kind of prediction. I want to show you something interesting after this. Stay on. I know you might not be happy, so stay on, stay on. Okay. Okay, so now, now let me shift to, I'm going to erase everything. So we can go to the day chart. Okay, we can go to day chart. Okay, this is a day chart. Okay, I'll try to zoom in. Okay, in the day chart, you'll see something interesting. Okay, what is that interesting thing? I'm going to do the same analysis. Okay, I'm going to take this ruler. I'm going to take that peak at the peak here all the way to the bottom here. So it took a period of 28 bars. So we can say a period of 28 days, something like that. 28. Okay, so to pull down, for the sellers to pull down, it took 28 period of time. Now let's try to see how good are the buyers. Okay, the buyers all the way from the low here. I'm going to bring it all the way to the high, 27. Okay, the buyers. But just now it's quite contradicting, right? In the long term, in the weekly chart, the buyers took longer time, didn't it? But in the day chart, the buyers were doing a big quick job. They were doing a quick job to pull it up, because just now we noticed to sell the sellers took 28 period of time, but here the buyers took 27 period of time, which means they are they are better off, right? They're better off. Buyers were better off in pulling it up, right? So they were quicker in other way, right? So because they were quicker, the buyers were quicker, according to our analysis, right? Using the Fibonacci retracement analysis. Okay, let me bring that tool again. Okay, trend-based Fibonacci, right? So in this, okay, let me draw the line from there all the way down to here, all the way to up. Okay, so in an earlier case, the buyers, when on the weekly chart, the buyers were kind of slow, right, to pull it up. So we went all the way to level 1.618, right? But this time around in the daily chart, the buyers were quicker, right? So if they were quicker, then we have to go to level 0.618. And I did mention in the video that I shared to you just now, please watch it after this video. If both the buyers and seller took equal number of days, then we'll go to level 1. But if the buyers took, as what we saw here, they were quicker to pull the price up, then we say that the buyer sentiment is still there. So therefore, we'll stop, the retracement will stop at 0.618. And amazingly, you see, let me draw it for you. Amazingly, 0.618 is exactly where it stopped. Right? So do you see that? The price went down all the way, hit the target, bounce up. Do you believe now? How accurate is this particular Fibonacci analysis? So this is on a day chart. But just now was on a weekly chart. So on a long-term basis, there is a silent indication. That the price may go all the way down to $200 for this Tesla stock. But on a short period, I would say on a short-term investment basis, it's gonna touch 0.61H. It already touched, and then it bounce up. And then let me try to give a bit more hint, or rather my analysis. Okay, where will this price go up to? Because now it's climbing up, right? Where is it going to go up to? So let's try to do a bit of analysis. Okay, now I'm going to draw this line. These are market structures. So this is the outer line. Okay, roughly, this is roughly, okay, this is just roughly. And then let me draw another line. Okay, this is for this particular down move. Okay, it's not so accurate. Let me do it again. Okay, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so you see that this is a down pattern going in here. Okay, so I'm going to try to draw a trend line on that downtrend. So basically there's a mini downtrend here, and we notice that the price has gone up above this particular trend, right? This mini trend gone up, right? So in the last 2 or 3 days it managed to pull up beyond this particular trend, downtrend. Okay, mini downtrend I would say. So now I am anticipating that this price is going to climb all the way to hit almost to this particular line. Okay, and then it may come down again. And do notice that we are having a descending triangle. Okay, this is a descending triangle. Okay, this one top line and down here is a descending triangle, right? So it may go up all the way. So if you want a kind of short-term player, you might want to buy. I think it's not too. I mean, it's not so good because the risk-reward ratio is quite low. I wouldn't take this kind of trade, but if you want, you may, depending on your risk appetite. So this may go up all the way there and come down again. But same example, if the buyers are strong enough, they manage to go beyond this particular outer trend line, then our analysis is out. Our analysis is going to be out, and the uptrend is going to resume. That is if it managed to go beyond this particular line, the outer line, trend line. And we are seeing here that this particular trend, Tesla has been going up very strongly. So it has been going all the way from the low all the way to up here. So if we manage to go beyond this particular line, I think the uptrend is going to continue. Okay, this is the main resistance line. Okay, this is the main resistance line. And if this particular price climb managed to climb beyond that, then that's good. Okay. But the thing is whether it will do or not, because we already seen in the weekly chart, on a long-term chart, there are some signs of weaknesses. Not one sign, but there are more than one sign, right? Okay. Because why I say more than one sign? Okay, the first sign is of course the Fibonacci, which I said okay in the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, I just now mentioned to you that okay, it's going to retrace all the way to 1.618, which is around 200. That's one bad news, I would say. And of course, I did mention to you, if you try to draw the trend line, so this is one trend line. You can see the price has already gone down beyond that. Okay, so gone beyond that. But there's another trend line which we can rely on, which is this one. So on regards to this particular trend line, it barely hit. Okay, it barely hit. Okay, I need to zoom in. Okay, maybe this trend line is not so precise. Let me do it again. It needs to go cover as many points as possible. Yeah, it barely hit roughly. Okay, so you see barely it hit here. Okay, so it barely hit somewhere around here, and then it bounced up. Okay, and we're already seeing that the downtrend pattern is there. High, getting lower high, all that, right? So let's try to see how it's gonna. I have shown to you both sides, the positive side and the negative side, and we have also seen the reliability of the Fibonacci retracement, both on the short-term side, on the long-term side. On the short-term side, it hit the target. On the long-term, on the weekly side, it yet to hit the target because it's quite low, 1.618. So we are still hoping it won't, hopefully. But we will see how if this particular target it will reach or not. Okay, but some of you, if you are not having good risk appetite, as the price is going up now, you might want to sell it. Okay, but if you have very high risk and appetite and all that, and you see some opportunity here, you may wait until it crosses this particular outer trend line. Then I think it's safer. Then it's safer to buy. Okay. Anyway, your buy and trade, your trading is your risk. I've already put a disclaimer earlier. So hopefully this particular analysis has benefited you. You have learned something new, a different angle of looking at things. So in this video I showed you both the short-term and long-term kind of analysis using the daily and the weekly chart. So if you like my analysis, please subscribe my channel. I'll put more of such analysis. Do like, share, and give your comments. What do you think about it? Agree, disagree? I mean, okay, fine. We are professional. I'm fine on that. Okay, thank you and see you again.